In a healthy economy, money moves in a continuous loop. Consumers buy goods, businesses use that revenue to invest in new equipment, and they hire workers, who then use their paychecks to buy more goods. Then a shock hits, like the 2008 financial meltdown. Credit freezes. Panicked businesses halt expansion and lay off workers. People lose their incomes, and suddenly that spending loop snaps. This chart shows exactly what that looks like. This heavy line represents aggregate demand, the total amount of spending in the economy. When a shock hits, that demand plummets, opening up a massive void. Economists call this a recessionary gap. When millions of consumers and businesses pull back their spending at the exact same time to protect themselves, the economy enters a freefall. And because everyone is cutting back, the private sector has no mechanism to generate the cash needed to pull itself out. During a deep recession, there is only one entity left with the power and the capital to step in and fill that spending vacuum: the government. We are looking at a rescue operation of immense scale. Restarting a stalled national economic engine requires injecting hundreds of billions or even trillions of dollars to replace the vanished private spending. The government executes this rescue using two specific mechanisms. First, through pre-existing laws known as automatic stabilizers, and second, through active legislation called discretionary fiscal policy. Preventing a total economic collapse relies on this coordinated two-tiered defense. And the very first layer of protection is an invisible safety net that deploys before politicians even realize a crisis has hit. This first line of defense goes to work instantly. It doesn't require Congress to debate, draft, or pass a single piece of new legislation. It starts with taxes. As businesses cut hours or lay off workers, personal incomes naturally fall. Automatically, those workers drop into lower tax brackets, meaning they get to keep a larger share of the money they do have. Simultaneously, a weaker economy triggers the spending side of the equation. A surge of newly laid off people instantly qualify for unemployment insurance, Medicaid, and food assistance, guaranteeing they still have some cash to buy basic necessities. We haven't always had this system. Right before the Great Depression hit in 1929, federal spending was only about 4% of the total economy. Without modern safety nets, millions were left with absolutely nothing. Today, government spending hovers around 20% of GDP, creating a much larger buffer. By automatically taxing less and spending more, these pre-existing laws act as an immediate shock absorber. They naturally slow the decline in overall demand by putting cash directly into the hands of those who will spend it. But sometimes the drop is catastrophic. In the second quarter of 2020, during the pandemic shutdowns, US GDP fell by over 9%. When a crater is that deep, automatic stabilizers alone cannot stop the bleeding. That triggers the second line of defense: expansionary fiscal policy. This requires politicians to actively step in, negotiate, and pass new laws. They pull two main levers to expand the economy. They can enact massive new tax cuts for businesses and individuals, or they can use direct government spending, like sending thousands of dollars in stimulus checks straight to households. This chart illustrates exactly how this bailout functions mechanically. We start here at the equilibrium point E0, where the downward-sloping aggregate demand curve meets short-run aggregate supply. Notice how far to the left this is from that vertical line, which represents the economy operating at its full potential. That horizontal distance along the bottom axis between our current output and our potential output is the recessionary gap. In the real world, that space represents millions of lost jobs, shuttered factories, and bankrupt small businesses. The massive injection of government spending and tax cuts physically forces the aggregate demand curve to shift to the right. We move from AD0 to AD1, landing at a new, healthier equilibrium. Through this artificial injection of capital, the government successfully replaces the vanished private spending. It mechanically pushes the nation's output and employment back toward their true potential. Shifting lines on a graph looks precise and immediate, but in reality, fiscal policy is entirely dependent on political coordination and time is rarely on our side. The first hurdle is the recognition lag. It takes government statisticians months to collect enough data to officially confirm a recession has even started. Then comes the legislative lag. Politicians spend crucial months arguing over the exact size, scope, and target of the stimulus bill, turning economic necessity into a political battleground. Finally, there is the implementation lag. Even after a bill is signed, it takes a vast bureaucratic effort to actually disperse billions of dollars to the correct federal agencies, state governments, and citizens. These accumulated delays carry a huge risk. By the time the money actually hits the economy, the worst of the recession might already be over. The government ends up overstimulating an economy that is already recovering. As the old saying goes, the economist's lag is the politician's nightmare. Despite these flaws, expansionary fiscal policy remains a vital blunt instrument. When a crisis hits, it is absolutely necessary to prevent a total economic collapse. But while the government can successfully print and inject money to artificially replace lost demand, a recovering economy never returns to its exact previous shape. When entire sectors like construction or finance permanently contract, injecting cash won't bring those specific jobs back. The economy has to undergo structural evolution to survive. Workers have to physically move from old, decaying industries, learn new skills, and transition into new, growing sectors. Automatic stabilizers and stimulus checks are incredibly effective at catching a falling economy, but the complex structural evolution required to truly rebuild a nation inevitably takes time that no single piece of legislation can instantly fix.